Hello, greetings. Engineer Bob here. Welcome back to our lunar start, and now we will begin the construction of our rover. A lot of this stuff gets kind of boring, so I've kind of put it sped up, and I'll just voice over it for everyone. I'm going to start off with the remnants that we had, the drill rig attached to the hinge, which was then attached to our cockpit there. We want to get some starting materials, some interior plates and some steel plates so we can begin framing things out. We want to utilize these two ports in the back of the cockpit here. So we'll go ahead and place a couple of these conveyor junctions, and then we want to make sure that we have the small port on this small grid large cargo container line up with those, and that way any stone that gets collected by these drills will pass through into the cargo container there. It's important to remember for your small grid craft that you do have large ports and small ports you need to keep track of, and depending on what is being passed through, some items may be stopped. So in this case, where we are just mining ore, the drills will be able to pass that ore through small grid ports, which they themselves have, and then through everything else that is also small grid. We just need to remember that wherever we have these small grid ports, we need them to be lined up and connected. If they're off, then they will not be able to pass material through them. Here we're getting some batteries on, get some power going for it, and just frame out a little bit more of the vehicle here. I wanted 2 cargo containers on this craft, just because I don't want to have to keep stopping over and over again. I want it to have some sort of capacity with it. With a little bit more capacity too, it'll help push the weight backwards and help keep it stable whenever we're drilling. Wheel placement is also important to keep this balance true, especially when we have a lot of weight in one place. We can help distribute that a little bit better with another set of wheels. And we also want to make sure that our wheels are on the same plane, so not just in the same line going up and down the vehicle, but at the same elevation too, unless there was some intentional design for the wheels. Here, just kind of placing things, feeling out the build, and found that those front wheels are going to be too low, and I definitely don't want the front of the craft sitting down too low. So went back and repositioned them on some little internal pieces here, give a little bit of design and put that elevation in there. Then we can add those wheels back in and then guarantee that they're all lined up and ready to go on there. Kind of get the basic framework of the vehicle set up, see how it looks. If you're ever too close to your wheels whenever you place them, it will occasionally not place the wheel there. And to fix that, you just go back into the cockpit and just click add wheels. I usually just do it to all of them at the same time. Back to this monstrosity. I think we've got the basics framed out for it. I think that looks pretty good. The wheelbase might be an issue because I've pushed it out this much further. We'll see how that goes, because it should just be drilling out just enough for the wheels to scooch down. Worst case scenario, I can always extend it with my drills. I only have so many drills available to me. So if I go to I, not looking at an inventory or anything, I go over to my info, we can see that on this server we're limited by the number of grinders, welders, and drills we can have. I already have 3 of them out here, and I can only have 2 more. The limitations of some blocks in the public servers can be difficult, but I like it because it gives you that little bit of an engineering challenge to work around. How do I get more out of less? And I think that's kind of the essence of the game, is to get that extra more out of less. And that's one of the things that I like playing on public servers for. If you just wanted more material faster, you could just have a million drills on something and just face plant in and have all your resources taken care of. But In this case, we need to be a little more conservative with that, especially whenever you're doing a fresh start. You have limited resources and limited power to begin with. So until you get to that end game where you don't care about those anymore, it's always best to kind of think through your problems and then act on them. Here I'm trying to get a bit more design for the vehicle, trying to add some mud flaps to it, trying to give it like a little bit of practicality look out of everything. It doesn't really do anything for it other than change the looks on it. But I think that the looks for something can be just as important as the functionality of it. To copy a slogan from another content creator I enjoy the works of, there are two kinds of cool. The first kind of cool is the functionality of the thing. And we can get functionality fairly easily with the skeletal works there. But also important is the second kind of cool, and that is, how does it look? And often how something looks will influence our decision on whether or not we want to use it over something else. Yeah, I can just slap some cargo containers and a drill on something and get that taken care of, but how does it really look? How does it feel? Does it fit the role that it's supposed to be doing or not? It all depends there. Here I just put in the sorters and connectors for our rover. So I want to go back into the menu and pull these items together. For the sorters, I will have those be able to pull stone for me. What I'm trying to do is get just the raw ore. I don't want to fill up on stone as I'm drilling. So I can go into the sorters, select them to throw out, and whitelist stone. So this means the sorters should only allow stone to pass through them. And when we pair this with the connectors that are just beyond them, we can set these connectors to throw out. So anything that they are given should be kicked out the front. Instead of using the specific ejector block as an ejector, I can use the sorter to pass larger masses through to the connector and have it act as an ejector for me. Moving back into the accelerated footage here, just go ahead and just going around and adding some more mud flaps to the vehicle. Again, I'm just kind of giving it a little more of an industrial look, and these are going to serve no function whatsoever. Whenever you do put things around wheels, I've found that it helps if you give them a bit of clearance. The wheels don't tend to play nicely when there are blocks that are clipping through them. And this is especially true on the public servers, where things can be delayed a bit and you can more easily generate phantom forces and invoke playing. And that's not something that you want to do, especially when you're limited on resources when you're trying to start off. Lighting is something that's often underappreciated and something that I often underappreciate as well, but I've been trying to get a little bit more into it. Not only will it add some character to your vehicles, but it's actually very helpful as far as visibility goes. The spotlights will only project forward and they will be blocked by anything that's in front of them. These other lights, however, will penetrate blocks and illuminate in a radius around them instead of just directly forward. So even though some of these are placed on the underside, they will actually project light in all directions. So it's kind of good to know which lights do what and how you can utilize them to get whatever kind of effect you want. I find that if you soften the lights a little bit and ever so slightly change the color, it's not such a harsh white, you can get something that's a little more natural looking. And I do want to name this grid too. I'll call this grid Rover Drills. You guys don't look happy at the moment. Let's adjust that angle. That hinge. Just in case you're pushing against that upper limit too much. Push you down the back. There we go. Seems to have settled out. Okay. We've got some light all around us. We've got some front, back. Let's go get some more iron since it's nighttime at the moment. Well, we have a lot of get up and go on that. I can see we've got a lot of iron in us now. Just fantastic. It's exactly what I want to be seeing out of a rig like this. It's our maximum load so far. 135,000 kilograms. Put our wheels down. We are very heavy. Ready to connect. And our refinery should just pull everything. Always seems like as soon as I get one of these guys up and running, I just don't care for them anymore. Because as soon as I get that hydrogen and that cobalt, I can make tons of thrusters. Then I can just fly around, get everything that I need that way. So much more effective than driving. Looks like we've got some here already working. Starts of our base. And we'll just fingers crossed that we don't lose it when we come back. Till next time, go forth and build great things.